I think wait till the recordings. Oh, it is now.
Yeah, right now. Go ahead.
Thank you, Naomi. It is my absolute honor and privilege to once again introduce Zehava Farbman. Thank you for coming back to speak for us. Zehava is MSW children psychologist, was working in this field for 5 years. Her work is on helping individuals, families, and locally, nationally, and internationally to care for and respond to the full range of crises, traumas, and tragedies. Zehava has spoken nationally, widely recognized, both serving the Klal with Chai Lifeline, initially for 8 years as Associate Director of Camp Simcha, and then as one of the directors of Project Chai, the Crisis Intervention, Trauma, and Bereavement Department of Chai Lifeline. Zehava continues this very same Avodas HaKodesh on her own, L'Shem Shamayim. She can be reached at zehavafarman@gmail.com, 516-993-0430, and of course we'll post all the information on the chat. In addition, Zehava is the responder for mental health emergencies for Hatzalah of the 5 towns in Far Rockaway in New York and consultant for other Hatzalahs. Zehava is the founder and voice of Soul Sisters, a daily message disseminated by Yeshiva Ataras Shimon to an audience of thousands worldwide, consisting of chizuk and inspiration stemming from the worlds of Torah and psychology, as well as from her personal and professional experiences. To receive Soul Sisters by email, we will post the email and the number to the WhatsApp chat. Thank you so much, Zehava, for joining us today. Zehava, you're muted.
Thank you, Nomi. I thought you were going to unmute me. It's a privilege and a pleasure to be amongst this group of very, very holy women. It's my chizuk for the month. So we call my presentation Peering into the Parsha. And I would like to share something from Parsha's Kedoshim. And I know many of you are in Eretz Yisrael, and that was last week. But I think, I hope that you'll agree with me that this thought on the Parsha is really going to help us and give us some guidelines into how we can deal with some unhealthy relationships in our life. And of course, it is a pathway to get closer to Hashem. And those of you who have heard me speak before know that I consider the Torah not just a rule book, not just a history book, but really the first psychology book. And I think that when we take a closer look into Parshas Kedoshim, especially the psukim that I'm going to be talking about, Hashem doesn't just give us mitzvos like random, do this, don't do this, to keep us busy. First of all, obviously, it's a way to connect to Him, 613 ways. A mitzvah comes from the word tzav, which connotes a team, like being on the same team. But the mitzvos are also, if I dare say, emotionally in tuned and really a guideline for our life, not just how to live and do our daily activities, like tying our shoes and washing our hands, but really to live a healthy, spiritual, emotional, and physical life. So I'd like to share this thought on the Parsha, and we'll connect it, Be'ezras Hashem, to the Sfira of the week, Tiferes, connect it to 2 major yard sites from this week, and also connect it to Chodesh Iyar, the month that we're in. So, B'Shem Hashem Na'aseh V'Natzliach. This thought comes from Rav Judah Mishal and starts with a story. The great tzaddik of Yerushalayim, Rav Aryeh Levin Zatzal, was the paradigm of kindness, holiness, and righteousness. A beloved sage who radiated ahavas habrios, love of all beings, exemplified a life of Torah's chesed, earning the trust and respected of Jews from all walks of life. In the early days of the fledgling, the beginning of Eretz Yisrael, not Eretz Yisrael, but in the 1940s and 50s, due to difficult economic conditions, there was a number of stores in the center of town that remained open on Shabbos. Community activists and Rabbanim work to educate, inspire, convince, and cajole the shopkeepers to respect the holiness of Shabbos, as well as the Kedusha of Yerushalayim, and to close their stores by sundown. One store owner, though, was particularly obstinate in his refusal to close his shop. When Rabbi Aryeh heard of the situation, he volunteered to intervene. That Friday afternoon, dressed in his Shabbos lavash, his Shabbos finery, Rabbi Aryeh visited the store. He walked up and down the aisles, surveying the goods, observing the hustle and bustle of customers coming in, making their purchases. As the sun began to slide behind the stone buildings and the inner glow of Shabbos spread through the holy city, Rabbi Aryeh made himself comfortable on a chair next to the entrance of the store. The owner was unsure what Reb Aryeh was doing and began to feel uncomfortable with the tzaddik's presence. The time for mincha had already arrived, and Reb Aryeh showed no sign of moving. He just sat there, watching the steady flow of customers entering and exiting the shop. Kvod Harav, dear Rabbi, the owner finally whispered, blushing, is there anything I can do for you? Reb Aryeh's voice was gentle and full of empathy. My dear brother, when I heard that an Erlich Yid like yourself keeps his store open on Shabbos, I'll be honest, I couldn't understand how it was possible. I needed to come see for myself how difficult it must be for you to close your business. And seeing how many customers are here and how much business you are doing, I must say, I feel for you. This must be such a challenge for you. The Yid was visibly moved. Kvod Harav, I don't know what to say. I've taken so many threats, so much pressure, and the harshest criticism from people who have never even met me. It means so much to me that you came here today and that you really do understand how hard this is for me. Rabbi Aryeh rose to leave, looked the shopkeeper in the eyes, and wished him a heartfelt Shabbat Shalom. Soon thereafter, the store was closed for Shabbos in honor of the Holy Shabbos and ostensibly in honor of Reb Aryeh. In Parshas Kedoshim, we are called upon to lovingly and respectfully admonish our brother who has erred. Lo tisna es achicha bilvavecha, hocheach tochiach es amisacha, velo tisna alab chet, lo tikom velo titor es b'nei amecha, ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, ani Hashem. You shall not hate your brother in your heart. You shall surely rebuke your fellow, but you shall not bear a sin on his account. You shall neither take revenge nor bear a grudge against the members of your people. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. I am Hashem. From Parak Yud Tes, Psukim Yud Zayin and Yud Ches. Unpacking the structure and sequence of these instructions reveals an insightful inner roadmap, process, and derech towards achieving what our sages consider klal gadol b'Torah, the most essential principle of Torah, ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Healthy relationships are founded on open, honest communication. Lo tisna es achicha bilvavecha. Do not hate your brother in your heart is therefore the first and foundational step on this path. We may at times feel slighted, jealous, angry, resentful, sad, or bitter. All such feelings are normal at times. The Torah only warns us not to harbor such negative feelings, to be careful to not let them fester, for if they fester, they may eventually erupt on another person. With the directive of Hocheach Tochiach, admonish your neighbor who has erred, the Torah encourages us to acknowledge and honestly address our feelings so that we can respond to distressing situations consciously and constructively. Tochacha, admonishment or rebuke, is not easy. Yet, while it may be hard to express painful emotions or tell someone of your disappointment or disapproval, when tochacha is shared within a context of love and respect, it can create deeper connections with the other and better spiritual health for both of us. The essence of tochacha is reflected in the Arizal's teaching that all souls constitute one body, and the performance of a mitzvah or avera by any one of us affects all of us. The spiritual health of our collective body thus depends on the well-being and functioning of each limb. While the instructions in these psukim emphasize loving others, they also acknowledge that inappropriate behavior or unholy acts of another person call for tochacha, corrective action, and tikkun, the lo tisa alav fate, and do not carry sin on his account, implies that if we fail to speak out regarding destructive attitudes or behaviors, we can, in a sense, onboard that sin. However, as the order of psukim shows us, our call to mutual responsibility is sandwiched by Ahavas Yisrael. When we communicate openly and with empathy, it allows us to stay clear and connected to Hashem and to maintain our relationship with the other person without weighing it down with harshness or blame. It also keeps us from picking up and carrying the burden of a sin that could have been prevented. Ultimately, the lo titor, we must not hold a grudge, and ve'ahavta l'reacha, we must love them, for an individual who has sinned is deserving of love and cannot be defined by their error or wrongdoing. This includes ourselves. We should never hold a grudge, even against ourselves, for our mistakes. The Alter Rebbe in Tanya, in chapter 32, clarifies this. Lo tikun v'lo titor, those who are far from Hashem's Torah and service must be drawn close with strong bonds of love. Thus, the mitzvah to love and the mitzvah to hate can coexist. It is a mitzvah to hate the evil that exists within a person, while loving the hidden spark of godliness that resides within them. V'lo tikun v'lo titor, not taking revenge or bearing a grudge, suggests a methodology of letting go and moving forward in bruised relationships, and a practical step in moving from not hating to cultivating love. The Torah's specific choice of language in this pasuk, b'nei amecha, members of your people, focuses our attention upon the fact that each and every Jew is my dear brother or sister. A well-known parable is first expressed in the Gemara Yushalmi. If one were to accidentally cut their hand with a knife, can we imagine a sane and healthy person would cut the other hand in retribution? Taking seriously the issur of taking revenge and the avera of bearing a grudge enables us to live day to day with the Arizal's teaching that all Jews are members of the same sacred body. The Kapitchner Rebbe, Rav Abraham Yeshua Heschel Zatzal, would say that the mitzvah of ve'ahavta does not refer to loving tzaddikim, for it is impossible not to love good, kind, and righteous people. Therefore, the commandment is to love those who are difficult to love. Ve'ahavta applies to those with whom we strongly disagree, people who choose to live differently than we do, or seem to have opposing values and world views. The Baal Shem Tov has revealed that Ahavas Yisrael is the first portal that leads into the courtyard of Hashem's palace. May we be zocha to enter that gate. And if we think about the week that we are in, Tiferes, and we think about yesterday, the fact that there were two yahrzeits of two big tzaddikim, we can combine their legacies into this very lesson, into the sphere of the week, and to the month that we're in. Rav Shaila of Kerestir was a role model of chesed, of doing for others, of ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, bein adam l'chaveiro. And it was also the yahrzeit yesterday of Choni Hama'agal, who taught us that we can stand inside a circle and demand to Hashem, daven to Hashem, cry to Hashem that we will not leave until it begins to rain. Chesed and tefillah. On the week of Tiferes, Because in order to have tiferes, in order to have balance, and in order to be able to move forward with harmony in ourselves, in our family, in our community, and certainly in Am Yisrael, we need to achieve the tiferes, the balance. And how do we do that? We do our hishtadlus, we do chesed for others, we do. But we know that the ultimate hishtadlus is tefillah. And we need to always maintain that balance, that tiferes in our lives. Chesed and tefillah, bein adam l'chaveiro, bein adam lamakom. Really, isn't that the essence of Hashem's message to us? For in the Aseres HaDibros, half are bein adam l'chaveiro and half are bein adam lamakom. So if we follow Hashem's lead, and if we find that tiferes in chesed and tefillah, in bein adam l'chaveiro and bein adam lamakom, that is how we will be able to enter the first portal that leads into the courtyard of Hashem's palace, of which the Baal Shem Tov spoke of. And if you think that this is something that we only dream about, something that, we think is just an ideal and literally something in our dreams, sometimes we dream about harmony with, people who we are having difficult time with, in unhealthy relationships, in a toxic environment, and certainly in Am Yisrael, how much, unfortunately, machlokas there is going on in Am Yisrael, and people who aren't focusing on achieving that balance. These are dreams that we think can only come with the coming of Mashiach. But dreams, says Rav Shlomo Kabach, is the essence of Chodesh Iyar. And he said that the most breathtaking thing and we can never stop dreaming for that shalom and for that tiferes. That's the point. Even when you wake up, we still have to do our hishtadlus in repairing those relationships, and of course, davening for that shalom. And Rosh Shlomo Carlebach says that the most heartbreaking thing in the world is when you dream about freedom and eventually become free and you stop dreaming about it. The saddest thing in the world is not when I don't get what I want. It's when I get what my heart wanted for so long, but the longing for it stops doing what it used to do for me, right? Imagine, dreaming about repairing a relationship. And then finally, Be'ezras Hashem and your Hishabas, that relationship is repaired. And then you stop dreaming about it. So like the relationship goes on status quo and you stop working on it, what could happen? It could fall again. But this is the reason that Hashem didn't take us to Har Sinai right away. And here we come to really the depths in the counting of the Omer. In Parshas Emor, the Torah tells us to count. And when we count Sfira, we say, Ribono Shel Olam. Today is already so and so many days that we have left Mitzrayim, and we're still dreaming about freedom. This month, Iyar, when we count the Sfiras HaOmer, when so much of the Sfiras HaOmer is during this month. So the name of the month is Iyar, which is Reishei Tevos for Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, and Rachel. Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov were always davening to Hashem. Let there be one nation. Let there be one free people who can serve you. But do you know what they were missing? Do you know what they needed most? They needed to continue dreaming about it once they became free. Because if I'm not dreaming about it, the whole thing is over. And that's where Rachel Imenu comes in. She never stops dreaming. She never stops crying for it, for us, for that dream to come true. Rachel Mevaka al Baneha. Now we understand why we read about Ruth on Shavuos. When we're born a Jew, we are, so to speak, missing out on something important. Who teaches me how to dream about being a Jew? For that, we need a convert. We need somebody who is dreaming about becoming a Jew. And before we read about Kabbalah HaTorah, receiving the Torah, we learn about another convert, Yisro. Yisro always dreamed. He always felt that emptiness inside of him would one day be fulfilled and healed. He went everywhere, tasted from everything, but he never gave up. He never stopped dreaming. Who is curable and who is incurable? Sorry, 1 second. I just lost it. Who is curable and who is incurable? Once you stop dreaming about being healed, you are incurable. As long as a person still dreams about being cured, there is hope. Now, during the month of Iyar, we keep our dreams alive every night of the month during Sfira. Therefore, Iyar also stands for Ani Hashem Rofecha, which comes through the energy of Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, and Rachel. So let's take it one step further. When we dream, we don't want anyone to wake us up. You're in the middle of a great dream. You don't talk while you're dreaming. When a chassan covers his kala's face, he is basically saying, I'm dreaming about you and me. Let's dream about this forever. Don't ever interrupt your dreams. Don't let anyone interrupt your dreams. When children are born, they keep their eyes closed because they, so to speak, don't want to wake up. They are here, but still connected to the world of dreams. The same thing happens with the Shabbos candles. When we bench lifts on Friday night, we kindle the lights and then cover our eyes. The question is, why are we covering our eyes now that we have lit the candles? Why not look at the lights? Simple. I want to dream about it. Yes, it's in front of me, but I want to keep dreaming about it. We went into Galus, into exile, because we stopped dreaming dreams about the Beis Hamikdash while we had the Beis Hamikdash. There was no other way of making us dream again. So you know what's so special about this time period? Why Hashem didn't give us back Yerushalayim in its entirety right now? Obviously, we haven't dreamt enough about it yet. We have it. We are slowly coming home, but are still given the privilege to dream about it. So let us dream about rebuilding the Beis Hamikdash and have that shalom and that harmony. Achenu kol Beis Yisrael will happen in the time of Mashiach, and let it be now. And just to continue, finish that thought in terms of our own constant health, our spiritual health, our emotional health, our physical health, in terms of having shalom with, people who we don't have it yet, in terms of being able to say to Hashem, we're still dreaming. We're dreaming about freedom. We're dreaming about Geula. We're dreaming about shalom. And we're certainly dreaming about the Beis Hamikdash. So I don't know about you, but I thought that this was a really impactful thought to not only take into my week, into my Shabbos, into my month, into my Sfira, but really to try to incorporate, every single day to keep dreaming until we have Mashiach here with us and who can wake us up from our dream and be like, okay, hayinu kecholnu.
Very beautiful. Thank you so much, Zehava. Wow. Do you have time for questions?
Yeah, sure.
Is there anyone that has any questions for Zehava?
So, yes, this is Charlene. So when you say Shir HaMalot, first of all, thank you very much. This concept of dreaming. When we say Shir HaMalot on Shabbat, we sing before Birkat Hamazon, Hayenu Kecholmin. So that was in the time of the Bet Hamikdash, Hayenu Kecholmin. And then we spoke in the past, as Yomru Bagoim. So it's like a present, it's the past, it's like integrated in all aspects of time. So in my life, I just want to share that quickly. The word Halom is Lechem. Lechem is what sustains me. And if I don't have a Halom, I am not sustained. I have to have a dream. It doesn't matter if it's a small or big dream. If you have a dream, you're going to achieve. That's what I feel. And I tell you a story, my husband wanted to have a fish pond, koi fish. And his children made fun of him. And I said, he has a dream. Let him make his own dream come true. That's why we live here. We have dreams, big ones, small ones. So that's okay to have a dream, The next thing you know, one of the sons made a koi fish pond. So it's good to dream, and it's what sustains us. I don't know, psychoanalysis and psychiatry and psychology talks a lot about dream because that's our subconscious. And if we don't dream there, we don't have having anything in this world. So
I agree with you, and thank you so much for sharing. And I think, the words "kahayinu kachomim," that it's in the past, I think definitely speaks directly to what we were talking about, because we did dream about the Beis Hamikdash, and the Beis Hamikdash, is a dream that we are dreaming about because it was in our past, but we need to dream about it that it's going to be in our present, in our future. You know what I'm saying? So
yes,
when you dream about, a memory, like a happy memory that you had, it's in your past, but if you're thinking about it now, you can bring it to your present. You can bring it, to your future. And I think that's the point.
thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Zehava. I really appreciate it. And thank you, Lumi. Always. It's awesome.